the meeting. And we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance led by our Board Trustee, Abdullah Fatai.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Abdullah, you have the moment of silence.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Al-Jabbar. So I'm sure it's no new news to everyone about the tragedies that we're facing in Ukraine right now. It's never easy to deal with something like this, and I'm sure for a lot of people this might connect closer to home, whether you have people living in Ukraine or surrounding cities or countries. It's always hard to see such conflict go out in such violent ways, because we've seen a lot easier way to handle conflict in our own school sites and in our communities, just by talking and listening to people. So it's never easy seeing such tragedies go down just because of some conflict. I want to take a moment just to recognize all those people who are losing their homes, losing their families and loved ones right now all across the country. I think like over 1 million people have already fled, and a third of those are probably never going to return back to their homes. It's never easy to see this, and I think as of yesterday, I think there were 752 lives lost just to something as simple as that, which is never easy to see. So I want to take a moment just to pray for them and just hope for the best for those families and communities.
Thank you, Abdullah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah, for those words. Appreciate it. All right. Next, we go into our closed session report, and the clerk of the board.
Thank you. 4.1, no reportable action taken regarding public employee performance evaluation, superintendent. 4.2, the Board of Trustees unanimously approved the settlement agreement in OAH case number 2021-090923, resolving all issues in students' due process complaint by providing compensatory services and other reimbursement. 4.3, no reportable action taken regarding negotiations. 4.4, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to non-reelect the certificated employees listed as amended prior to the adoption of the agenda for the next school year. 4.5, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to accept the agreement with the employee HR-2021-22-209. 4.6, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to accept the agreement with the employee HR 2021-22-11. 4.7, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to dismiss employee HR-2021-22-12. 4.8, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to make the following appointment effective July 1st, 2022. Robert Salivar, Executive Director of Educational Services. 4.9, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to make the following appointments effective July 1st, 2022. Celeste Kruger, Director, Human Resources. Amy Maya, Director, Special Use Services. 4.10, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to make the following appointment effective July 1st, 2022. Hilda Vazquez, Coordinator, Cambridge Virtual Academy. And 4.11, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to make the following appointment effective July 1, 2022. Lorena Moreno, Principal, Western High School. All right, so I'm going to ask each one of them to come up and say a few words and
to the board and recognize the families as well. So let me start out with Robert Saldivar, who's been appointed as Executive Director for Educational Services.
All right. Out of emotion, so I had to prepare something. Good evening, Board of Trustees, members of Cabinet, and AUHSD community. First and foremost, thank you, and know that I am not only honored, but very humbled for this opportunity. With me today is my wife, Liliana, my daughter, Julissa, my son, Robert, and my mom, Natalia. I also want to acknowledge and thank the rest of my family watching virtually for joining us. I've been blessed to have a strong foundation at home built on love, kindness, patience, compassion, and faith. I want to thank my wife, Liliana, my daughter, Julissa, my son, Robert, my mom, Natalia, and my two angels in heaven, Jocelyn, my youngest daughter, and Roberto, my dad. I also want to thank the rest of my family and my wife's family for helping to build such a strong and beautiful foundation. Liliana, Julissa, Robert, I especially want to thank the three of you and our little guardian angel up above for your patience, love, and support all of these years. I love you all so much. Last but not least, I also owe so much of who I am today to the teachers and coaches I had as a student while at Anaheim High School, and my colleagues, friends, board members, and mentors that I have had the honor of working with over the past 23 years, most of these years while being at Anaheim High School. I love Anaheim High School, and I love our district. If not for these amazing people that have been a part of our district in my journey, I am nowhere near the servant leader I have become today. I feel blessed to have this wonderful opportunity to continue paying it forward and now help serve our entire AUHSD district. I look forward to the continued growth as a leader, as a servant leader, so that together, as our superintendent, Mr. Matsuda, likes to say, we win the Super Bowl and help to create a better world through Unlimited You. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Robert. All right, next I'd like to invite Celeste Kruger, our Director of Human Resources.
President Jabbar, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, members of Cabinet, colleagues, friends, and family. I want to tell you how honored I am to be given this opportunity. I have been nothing but supported and appreciated in every position I've been given in the district, and I've held several positions, which I think helps surround me and really prepare me for this next position. Before I go amiss, I want to recognize tonight with me, I have my husband, my son Owen, my husband James, my son Owen, and his girlfriend Tori. And thanks to a live feed, my daughter Olivia is watching from the University of Missouri-Columbia. My mom and sister and nephew are watching from Illinois, and my in-laws are watching from Wisconsin. So I'm thrilled that I'm able to share this with them tonight. So, 4 years ago when I became Director of Special Use Services, I was honored that I was bestowed with that responsibility and that task, and I am just so thrilled that I am also presented another one, and I just hope to continue to serve the students in the district, my colleagues, and AUHSD, and this is family to me, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Celeste. Next, I would like to invite Amy Maya, Director of Special Youth Services.
To raise it a little higher after Celeste. Love you. Good evening. Board President Jabbar, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, and Executive Cabinet. I'm incredibly grateful for the honor and the opportunity you've given me to be the Director of Special Youth Services. I'm excited to lead such an amazing department and continue the great work we are doing to serve our students with disabilities, their families, and our community. In the spirit of gratitude, I would like to honor and thank the people who have supported me on my journey to this point. To my daughters, my mom, my family, and friends at home who are watching, thank you for supporting and loving me throughout each of my endeavors, even when they may seem extra ambitious. To my SYS family and my Ed Division brothers and sisters, each and every one of you brings something unique and very special to the table, and I'm blessed to work alongside you each and every day and have learned something from each one of you. Thank you for helping me grow both personally and professionally, and I look forward to accomplishing more together as a team. To my incredible bosses, Dr. Freed and Mr. Colon, thank you for your mentorship and infinite support, as well as your faith in me to take on this new role. I promise to give you my personal best each and every day. To Carl Waddell, who I affectionately call King Carl, thank you for being not only the best legal counsel a girl could ask for, but also an amazing mentor and friend. Thank you for gently nudging me in the right direction as only you can. I'm extremely grateful to have more time to learn from you and to continue the work we're doing in special youth services. And finally, Celeste, 4 years ago, you chose me to go on this journey with you, and it has been one crazy adventure that I wouldn't trade for the world. Thank you for being the perfect example of what a leader should be, but more importantly, an amazing friend and sister. I cannot thank you enough for all you've done for me and for not regretting your choice, or at least not articulating that you did. I know I get to stand here today because of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. All right, our next appointment is Hilda Vazquez, Coordinator of Cambridge Virtual Academy.
Well, not too bad, Amy. It wasn't too tall. Thank you, President Jabbar, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, and Executive Cabinet for this amazing opportunity. I'm humbled to have the opportunity to be the coordinator of Cambridge Virtual Academy. As we continue to meet the diverse needs of our students and community, I look forward to working with our innovative teachers and staff to provide quality instruction and education for our students to be college, career, and life ready. I also would be remiss if I did not mention how bittersweet it is to be leaving Western High School, and I see so many people here, so I'm hoping not to cry, and the caring, supportive, wonderful students and staff who have shown me the pious way and how to put the we in Western. Lastly, I want to thank my colleagues, my families, and friends for their unwavering support day in and day out. And a special shout out to my husband, who is chauffeur coach at the moment. So he's watching virtually, who's the most amazing life partner who helps us make this all possible. And also my parents who are watching from Mexico. So thank you for providing this. So I'm just deeply humble, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Hilda. And next is our Western High School appointment, Principal Lorena Moreno.
Thank you, President Jabbar, board members, Superintendent Matsuda, and Executive Cabinet. It is an honor to stand before you today and to be appointed principal at Western High School. For the last 6 years, I have served as the principal at Dale, and it has been a wonderful journey. I'd like to thank all of the wonderful people, staff, students, and family at Dale for making those 6 years an incredible experience for me. And the leader that I started at Dale is completely a different leader today because of the mentorship of the many teachers, the families, all of you that have mentored me, and the community in West Anaheim. It is my privilege to continue serving the families in West Anaheim, the students, staff at Western. It is an honor that many of you are here today, and I know I'm filling big shoes with Ms. Vazquez. And prior to Ms. Vazquez, Ms. Kwan, just incredible leaders that Western has had. And like we're saying here tonight, it's not about the individual, it's about the we and the organization. And I'm just incredibly honored to stand before you. My family, part of my family is here with me tonight. My youngest, Liliana. The rest of our family could not be present. My husband is tending to his father who's ill in Oxnard, but he's with us watching on YouTube. Our oldest daughter is watching from UCLA also, and our other daughter's watching from UC Santa Barbara. Our other daughter had to work, so a big, big family coming your way, Western, and we're just so excited to join you. Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations to all of the appointees. I know that you're going to do great work for Anaheim Union High School District, and go get them. Thank you.
Bravo. Bravo.
All right.
Congratulations, everyone.
And our next is our recognitions. So I'm going to go ahead and read a few words here, and then maybe we'll bring all of them, all our student athletes up front, and then we'll get a picture with our board. So Laura High School is the 14, let me start reading what I have here. The Board of Trustees is excited to recognize Laura High School varsity football team for their outstanding performance in becoming the Division 14 CIF football champions. The team secured Laura's first football championship since 1979 with a 14-12 win, and I was there. It was nail-biting, and you guys did an awesome job over Rialto High School at Glover Stadium. The team is led by its hardworking senior class and head coach Lance Neal. This accomplishment has brought enthusiasm and pride to the campus, community, and parents and alumni. So congratulations, folks. So I'm gonna bring the student athletes and the coaches up front, and the board is going to line up in the background, and then we're going to take a quick picture. All right, so we're going to be giving out the certificates for you, but it's going to be at the your banquet. So we'll give the handed out over there, but as of right now, we'll just take the picture.
Hi, I'm Lance Neal, the head football coach. You get in situations like this and you try to think of the best way to honor your kids. I'm the parent of 3 adult children, high school athletes, and as I was thinking about how to honor these guys tonight, when my kids were roaming a high school, I would have loved for my sons and daughters to hang out with guys like this. They're just awesome young men, represent themselves really well on campus. They're obviously good football players, but that's really a small part of the enjoyment Coach Koza from Mama Koza's Restaurant, the rest of our staff get from being around young men like this. And their teachers compliment them, and we had a great football season. But in the bigger picture of all things, these guys are just awesome young men, and it's a real privilege to get to work with young people like this every day. So I've been in education 30 years. and through a weird turn of events, my grandfather used to tell me about Mickey Goit, who was a running back at Anaheim High. My original mentor, Terry Hennigan, was the head coach at Cyprus. I see a lot of Cyprus people here. He told me everything he learned was an assistant coach at Western High School. So while I haven't been here very long, I feel like I have deep roots, and I've really enjoyed the community and the community's embrace in what we did at Loera this year. So thank you all for the honor tonight.
All right, well, congratulations again. Let's give him a big round of applause. All right, so next we're going to be giving out certificates to our Teachers of the Year. The Board of Trustees would like to recognize Anaheim Union High School District's 2021-2022 Teachers of the Year. Each school site selected a Teacher of the Year and submitted him or her for consideration for AUHSD's Teacher of the Year awards. A committee then had the very difficult challenge of reviewing the nomination letters for each of these outstanding teachers and selecting 3 District Teachers of the Year who exemplify the best of the best. These 3 teachers will now be considered for the Orange County Teacher of the Year recognition program, and 5 County Teachers of the Year will be honored at an awards ceremony. So the first person that we are recognizing is Sabina Jackamus from Magnolia High School. She is a science teacher, served at AUHSD for 20 years, and her special contributions include empowered student voice and choice in her classroom. She also encourages students to consider changes that they want to see in their community and teaches them how to create action plans. She is the project coordinator for Magnolia AgriScience Community Center. Sabina also collaborates with staff across the district to create a social and cultural shift in how AUHSD community approaches food habits as a result of science literacy developed through education and the cultivation of food that will be grown on 2.5 acres of land at Magnolia High School. Congratulations, Sabina. All right, and the second teacher is Suzanne Duras from Walker Junior High School. She is a math teacher and served 17 years at AUHSD, and her special contributions include excelled in building positive relationships with every student. She conducts community circles in her class to strengthen relationships, relate to students, and understand their needs. Suzanne has also helped train other teachers in the use of community circles, and this has furthered the positive impact on students. Suzanne both participates in school and supports school events. She led the PBIS team and has been a master teacher and a BTSA support provider. Her dedication to her craft, her peers, and the community and students is exemplary. Congratulations. All right, and our third teacher is Monique Flores from Western High School. All right, so she teaches social science and served at AUHSD for 20 years, and her special contributions include she's an innovative teacher by incorporating strategies into her assignments and projects. Her lessons increase student voice and choice by offering an array of ways for students to demonstrate mastery and comprehension. She encourages students to actively participate in community service and civic engagement opportunities. Additionally, she creates opportunities for students to connect in and out of classroom through the Link Crew program. Monique is a campus leader and a mentor. Her participation in various leadership roles on campus further supports the students, teachers, parents, and staff. Western High School is proud and grateful to have her on campus. Congratulations.
Okay, now I want to see all of you at the celebration at the end of this year, right? Absolutely. The dinner.
Once again, congratulations to all our Teachers of the Year. Good work. Okay. Now I want to, if you want to take a few minutes to, if folks want to say, congratulations, and I mean, I know if you want to walk out, we're okay with it. We're not going to get offended. Go ahead. Go ahead.
1 minute. Can we just take a 1 minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking pictures with masks.
I know it. What a memory.
The reason you take pictures is so you can see people's faces.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Bring your stuff to cabinet. I talked to Brad a little about it already. So.
Thank you. I'll let me know if there's
Yeah,
anything else.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. Did you see Jaime? He's like bouncing around like nothing.
No,
Keith?
no, I have not.
The first time we were there, it was Russia
Yeah.
in 1975.
A lot has changed. A lot of.
Irony of how life goes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's just so surreal.
Laura again.
Okay.
I don't do it. Do we have their names on here? Yeah. All right. We have Anne-Marie.
You have a gavel.
Anne-Marie.
Just tap the gavel.
Hey, Stoller.
Huh? Good. Busy. I did a lot of labor work this morning.
Oh, really?
I'm changing the site of my driveway. It had ivy under the trees, and I didn't want it anymore, and I had it all yanked out.
All right.
Plastic down today.
So back in session while Anne Marie comes down here. I'm just going to go ahead and invite student representative to give their report. Abdullah.
All right, well, thank you, President Al-Jabbar. Thank you, everyone. So, let me get closer. So as usual, our schools held their RSVP summits. At Kennedy, Oxford, and Catella, they all held summits in the past month. It's really exciting because a lot of these students are sharing their voices where we didn't have as big of summits as we did beforehand. So our RSVPs are growing with the strength of our ambassador program. So it's really good to see how strong they've been. Also at Kennedy, show choir, all three of Kennedy's competitive show choirs placed first in their divisions at national. So, yeah, that was good. And then varsity cheer placed fourth in their division at nationals as well. So Kennedy's been doing good. Oxford, Kennedy, and Savannah are holding their dances this month after COVID concerns kind of halted a bit. I remember like a month ago we were kind of scared, so they pushed it back. So now we're going to be holding a few dances and a few more will follow. Students across the district are now kind of reporting low numbers for FAFSA completion. So administration is kind of working to kind of bump those up just because of COVID. Not a lot of people are really aware about it. So they're trying to bump those up, and people are getting called in during classes just to make sure that they're filling it out. So it's going good. This coming Monday, all seniors are going to be, or if they are going, they're going to be going to Medieval Times. It's a district-wide thing, so it'll be cool to see. I'll be there. I'm excited. Hopefully we'll win. And then also 4 ambassadors are attended the Orange County Equity Task Force, which is really cool because we're kind of helping facilitate to see where the money from the state is going to be going into. So we're trying to kind of show that Anaheim Union is implementing things, and hopefully we can get some of that funding towards us. So it's exciting to see these students kind of helping with that process and kind of helping the district as a whole. The ambassadors are also going to be going around elementary schools in Anaheim Elementary District, I think, yeah. And they're going to be kind of discussing the benefits of our district and also the pledge opportunities that we have. And then also at since our last meeting, there's been 2 LCAP meetings, and I think over 110 students have attended each meeting, so it's been a pretty good number, and we're excited to see their student voices being represented. We just had one yesterday too, so it was really great to see. And then at Lorena, the Black Student Union held a series of educational activities during Check and Connect and lunch to promote awareness about Black history and intersectionalism. Lorena's BSU attended the AUHSD Black History Month celebration on February 11th at KPAC, and we also got to celebrate at the Black History Parade in downtown Anaheim. The Puente Project recruitment program at Lorena also went to Ball Junior High to expose Ball students about their program. And there was a district junior high honors band at Pearson Park a few weeks ago, and some students got to showcase their work there. Lorena, Anaheim, Bros, and the Islamic Relief USA, Mona worked to do a distribution at Anaheim with 500 families receiving winter package distributions. Anaheim also did an Abound food distribution where 55 families were given fresh produce by appointment pickups on February 10th. Cyprus High School got first place for the academic decathlon in the county for Division 3. Yeah, I see some Cyprus people in the quad, yeah. The GLA, Global Leadership Language Academy at Savannah hosted an Autism Awareness Week, and their NAMI also hosted a Mental Health Awareness Week. Oxford Academy had their annual Patriot event where seniors get to do kind of like a little talent show, a little pageant thing. I was in it, so it was fun. And then Oxford Academy's FBLA competed in section, and more than 20 people qualified for state. And yeah, I think that's it for this month. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to cancel. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say, Abdullah, you and the rest of the ambassadors have been so visible at every event, and I just want to congratulate you and the team for doing such an amazing job. I just got to tell you, we had one, Cynthia, obviously, she was having an interaction with one of our community members at the winter package, and I had just mentioned that, hey, she's a Lorena ambassador, but she's coming here. She just immediately said, yes, I'm from Lorena, but Anaheim is my community, so I'm going to be everywhere. So that was profound for me, so I wanted to congratulate all of you guys for doing a fantastic job of representing. So thank you.
I'll relay the message. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good.
All right, so I know we added this new agenda item for student speakers. Do we have any student speakers in the audience or submitted a AUHSD student? All right, well, we'll get to you on the next one. All right, so we'll go to a report of our associations. Do we have any association reports? And go ahead, Grant.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and the AUHSD community here tonight. Real quick, before I start what I wanted to say, I also wanted to congratulate all of the new administrators and positions in the district and our Teachers of the Year as well. In particular, just from our association perspective, I also wanted to point out Monique Flores, over the past 5 years, has brought in over $60,000 in grants from CTA to implement the programs like Link Crew that not only brought mentorship between students, upper class and freshmen at Western, but then also extended down to Orangeview and built a real family community between those two schools. And we're really proud as an association that she applied and accessed those funds from our state union and brought those to our district to serve our students. I would like to report out on behalf of ASTA tonight, focusing on the shared leadership growing in this district. Tonight's resolution before the board about community schools, it's not just as a concept that it's being supported, but in practice as a structure that brings all educational partners into the decision-making process. Teachers, parents, students, community groups, support staff, and administration working collaboratively to build community schools that fulfill the needs and provide the education that our students and families deserve. Yesterday, the State Deputy Superintendent of Public Instruction, Steve Zimmer, the California Teachers Association Vice President David Goldberg, and a team of administrators and teachers from Chula Vista Elementary District spent the day with our steering committee at Sycamore Junior High to see the model that we are creating in this district. We were also joined by researchers from UCLA and the University of South Carolina who are following AUHSD and ASTA because of our team model developing teacher leadership in creating institutions that educate the whole child. In short, AUHSD and ASTA are working with community partners to create a national model. And people are coming here to see it and want to know what it is we're doing and how we've managed to build what we've built already, and then see how we're going to implement it. This model of shared leadership is not uncoincidentally growing in different areas across the district. As a district, we have been unabashedly promoting civic engagement in classrooms with our students and teachers and putting it into practice within our district, where teachers and students obviously see it as a place that it can make an impact on their lives immediately. Almost 80 parents showed up to the first community school information night for Sycamore and Anaheim. Over 100 students showed up for the first LCAP meeting to talk about what they want to see in their schools. Hundreds of ASTA members over the past 2 years have joined the teacher input groups, the special education committees, and various other institutions within AUHSD to make sure all of our voices are heard and we can move forward together, making the schools that we want and we believe that our students and our communities deserve. And so I just stand tonight in support of this resolution that it's not just about supporting community schools, but about the model we're building and how this is going to be the foundation of the future of public education in this country and something that we can all be proud of. So with that, I complete my report tonight. Thank you.
Great report. Thank you, Grant. Appreciate all the work that you're doing and your leadership. Next, we have Jennifer Hippolito.
Yes.
I got your name right this
You
time.
did, thank you. Good evening, and yes, I'm the interim president for CSEA. First off, I would like to acknowledge Jackie Brock, who recently passed away. Jackie was not only a dedicated and respected employee for 26 years, but served on the CSEA e-board as president and in other positions, including our chief job steward. Jackie was well known as a passionate fighter for those who needed advice, guidance, and representation. Her spirit and generous heart were what kept many of us going through this pandemic, and she will not be forgotten. I would like to ask that we take a moment of silence at this time in commemoration of Jackie Brock. Thank you. Next, I would like to thank the board, Superintendent Matsuda, and all the district for maintaining as much continuity as can be expected during these uncertain times. Going into this pandemic, many districts chose to lay off employees en masse. We as classified are appreciative that you valued our service to the students and families of our communities. I know that many departments, including risk management, health services, classified HR, and certificated HR, worked tirelessly to ensure our schools would continue to run optimally despite dire circumstances. As classified employees, we would like the board to know that although a majority of us were impacted physically and mentally by the waves of COVID that sent many of us home either sick or to care for our loved ones or simply a fear of getting sick, we still maintained our loyalty to our sites. This last wave in January left many sites without optimal employee coverage that affected teachers, office staff, and campus staff. I gathered data from most sites that showed that on average, sites were down employees as little as 20%, with a median of 30%, and leaving Hope School short 70 employees at 50%. Some schools ran their offices with only 2 employees working for days at that capacity. These employees ensured there was sub-coverage, contact tracing, and that all student and site needs remained consistent. As a community and a school district, we were never prepared for this. HR stepped up, trying to fill the gaps in a competitive and unsure job market where employees choose to come and go at will. Directors worked at sites, filling in for teachers when there were no longer any subs to cover. Teachers helped cover classes for their sites as well as others. Classified staff provided coverage in positions that caused them to perform the jobs of up to 3 people. Although some of these employees made it seem effortless, it does create a long-term toll on the spirit. I am coming to you today to ask that the district, along with the board, knowing now what could happen, implement protocols addressing the needs of all our sites during emergency times. Being prepared for the unexpected will keep the AUHSD family cohesive and remaining the best at serving our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. And yes, we're going to miss Jackie Brock, and definitely I'm going to close the meeting today in her memory as well. So thank you. We're going to invite Corey Kratz. Come on down.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, District Cabinet, AUHS students and families, guests, and those joining us online. My name is Corey Kratz, and I'm the APJ co-president. I wanted to take this time to congratulate Stacy Guillaume from Lexington Junior High, Carrie Vaughn from Cyprus High School, and Ann Nguyen from Ball Junior High for being recognized as the 2022 AUHSD School Counselors of the Year, first year of recognition. So. A huge shout out to Ann Nguyen for being recognized as the 2022 OCDE School Counselor of the Year as well. Tonight, I'm honored to introduce two wonderful colleagues that will take this time to report on their school counseling programs. We will begin this evening with Jennifer Fremling speaking on behalf of Loera High School, and following her will be Ann Nguyen, who will be speaking on behalf of Ball Junior High School's school counseling program. Thank you.
All right, good evening. My name is Jennifer Fremling, and I am the lead counselor at Loera High School. And tonight I would like to highlight one of our senior students, Aisha Daru, and the relationship that she has with her counselor, Annelle Widger, that has allowed her to find success and thrive at Loera. A little bit of background on Aisha. Aisha has been able to overcome many barriers that were out of her control since she was born. Her birth mother was not able to care for her, so she was adopted by her loving adopted mother at birth. Unfortunately, while in 9th grade, Aisha's adoptive mother passed away from cancer, and Aisha then entered the foster care system. In her junior year, Aisha was moved out of Loera High School's attendance area, 30 minutes away from campus. However, due to the support and stability she found at Loera, she did not want to change schools. So she's been commuting to and from school on the city bus to get to a zero-period class and to participate in after-school sports. And she's also maintained a part-time job for the last 6 months. Aisha first had the opportunity to get to know her counselor, Annelle Widger, while we were on distance learning. And during this time away from campus, Aisha and Ms. Widger consistently met through Google Meets for questions regarding graduation status, A through G, her 6-year plan, and at times she just needed somebody to talk to. Aisha was able to trust Mrs. Widger, and on numerous occasions, Mrs. Widger was Aisha's advocate, whether it was with teachers or with social workers. Aisha really leaned on her school counselor for social, emotional, and academic support. And recently, Aisha and Mrs. Widger were able to work closely together one-on-one to complete Aisha's university applications. And she has submitted 4 CSU applications, and she has completed her financial aid application as well. While Aisha's success can be attributed to her strength of character, her resiliency, and her desire to achieve her goals, having the support system of her school counselor as a resource and safety net has been extremely important in encouraging her self-confidence and her self-esteem, emboldening her to challenge herself and to dream big. Aisha is very thankful for how supportive Mrs. Widger and the Loera staff has been throughout her 4 years in high school. Aisha is also very thankful to Principal Mr. Gary Brown for showing his support as he has attended her basketball games, and she's noticed and been very grateful about that. Aisha will be the AUHSD student honored by the Association of California School Administrators Every Student Succeeding Award on Friday, March 18th as well. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, community members, and the audience joining us here and online. My name is Ann Nguyen, and I'm a school counselor at Ball Junior High School. It is a pleasure to be here with you to share the inspiring story of one of our 8th grade students. To respect confidentiality, I will be referring to her as Student M. Prior to the start of the 2021 school year, I received an email from Student M's elementary school teacher. She had shared that Student M was homeless, diagnosed with cancer over the summer, and was hospitalized. I shared this knowledge with our district social worker and family and community engagement specialists. Our FACES reached out to Mom and found out that Student M had a cancerous tumor on her hand that was growing. As a result, Student M had to get her arm amputated. In addition to her health concerns, Student M was living under very unstable conditions. Student M loves school, especially being at Ball. She attended virtually until she couldn't because of her treatments and surgery. She expressed interest in going back here when she felt better after her surgery and wasn't happy when she had to go to independent studies instead. At the start of this school year, we weren't sure if Student M was going to be at Ball. She started the school year at Orangewood. It took a month before she was able to start in person, and I remember enrolling her and seeing the smile on her face and happiness at her physically being at school. While she was here, she was able to participate in classroom instruction that I provided on Thrively Strengths, career exploration, college expiration, and attendance at the AUHSD College and Career Fair. A result of this work and her personal experiences, she has chosen to pursue a career as a social worker. She loves to help people and has a giving heart. She is such a resilient child that has gone through so much in her life and always brings a positive attitude to school. Ball is an amazing place where everyone comes together to support all of our students. However, with Student M, she holds a special place in our hearts. We have created a safe and comfortable environment for her where she trusts all the adults on campus. Student M's story is a testimony to the work that can happen with compassion, community, and collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey and the team, for always sharing some of these amazing stories. We appreciate it, and thank you. Keep it coming. All right, and then next is Hilda Vazquez, our ALTA president.
Thank you, President Jabbar. Board of Trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, Executive Cabinet, and community watching online. I want to let you know that our sites have been really busy finalizing course requests for students and also developing summer options so that they are actively engaged and involved. One of them is our Summer Arts Academy district-wide, and also we are ending our winter sports season and starting the spring season of sports. Also, a particular focus has been placed with our seniors. As you've heard, they are in the process of finalizing their Fafsa applications, scholarships, prepping for the end of the year. Dula knows this very well, and all of the ambassadors are actively working on this, as well as our 8th graders and their transition to high school. So many of our sites have had virtual showcases or are planning some sort of transition event. Sites are also continuing to implement our COVID guidelines and have continued to see a decrease in the number of COVID cases and also student absences. Additionally, school sites are working with stakeholders on the master facilities plans as well as the participation in LCAP. I got the opportunity to be in group 1 yesterday, and it was very well attended, and we love the student voice. So students watching out there, please come join us. Also our parents, thank you for being there yesterday. Finally, this month, sites will be celebrating the arts and will continue to prepare for the upcoming SEMA-Palooza showcase that we will be having in April. I want to end my report with some hot off the press celebrations, and I want to thank Dr. Bryant, our AUHSD Access 17 president, for all her coordination and getting the Every Student Succeeding Awards, as you heard one from Lorena, and also from our administrators and partners. So without further ado, Dr. Jennifer Goldstein is being recognized in the county level for Professor of the Year. Also, our very own Jennifer Sasai, Assistant Principal of the Year. Again, these are all county awards. Ms. Jennifer Brown, Junior High Principal of the Year. Dr. Nancy Niem for Business Administrator of the Year, and our partner, North Orange County ROP for Business Partners. So congratulations to all of our partners, administrators, and our students for this recognition. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you for that hot off the press information, and congratulations to all the awardees. That is awesome. Thank you. All right. Putting AUHSD on the map. Thank you again. And now I'm going to ask the board to entertain in moving 10.10, the resolution for California Community Schools Partnership Program up to the next item so that we could take a vote on it, hopefully.
moved.
All right. We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Do I have a second? And this is a roll call vote. And this is for our California Community Schools Partnership Program.
What number is that?
1010.
1010.
1010.
Yes, on page 12.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
Okay.
All right, and this is a roll call vote. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Does anybody have any comments? Seeing none, I'll just let you know that this is great that we're doing this. I was there yesterday with our team and Grant's team at Sycamore. I know I didn't sit through the meeting, but I know that you guys are doing some amazing work, and I'm looking forward to opening up the community schools at Sycamore and Anaheim. But most of all, I'm more than happy to see that our community is involved in it. So thank you for the opportunity. We're glad to partner and get this done. So having said that, let's go for a vote. Ms. Trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
I vote aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Mr. O'Neill.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill. And then Al Jabbar votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Right, and 8.1, which was the Measure H Citizens Oversight Committee Annual Report, we're going to move it to the April meeting because we did get a communication that maybe the speakers were not available. So we'll go ahead and move that item to the April meeting. And I'll move on to 8.2, Financial Audit for Fiscal Year 2020-21. Ms. Nien, Dr. Nien.
Yes, thank you so much. We have our partner here from eBailey, Bobby Patel, to give us a report to the board. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, members of the cabinet. Oh,
No.
sorry.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So as Nancy mentioned, I'm a partner with Bailey, one of the auditors for the school district. I'll be going over both of the bond report and the district report, starting with the district report. What I'm going to cover, it's basically the audited financial statements, financial statement opinion, which includes the internal control and compliance areas, federal award opinions, which includes internal control and compliance areas, and also the state award opinion, which is just compliance. And before I get started, I generally like to describe what an audit is. Basically, it's a process designed to provide reasonable assurance whether the financial statements are free of material misstatements, with the ultimate goal of providing an auditor's opinion. The highest level an entity could earn, it's called an unmodified opinion, and the way we get there is through the risk assessment approach of the district's internal control, understanding and reviewing those controls, and ultimately performing a test of transaction using a sampling approach. Now I'd like to draw your attention to the summary of auditor's results page. It's page 100 in the printed copy. Basically, this is one area in the audit report which summarizes the three opinions that I'll cover. The financial statement opinion, the district earned an unmodified opinion, like I mentioned, that's the highest level of assurance that we provide, with no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies noted in the testing. The next award opinion that's on that page is the federal awards opinion. Again, the district earned an unmodified opinion on the federal compliance with no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses noted, and we tested 3 major federal programs. The next award on that opinion on that page is for the state compliance. Again, the district earned an unmodified opinion, and in addition, I'd like to add, we didn't have any audit adjustments. So what that means is what the board was presented back in September, the unaudited actuals, we took those numbers, audited them, and came up with no material misstatements to those numbers. The next page I want to draw your attention to is the schedule of financial trends. That's page 86. And for people that are like me, the number geeks, this is like the favorite page in the audit report, though, if you were to pick one. Basically, what this tells us is the trend of the general fund for the past 3 years and where it's going in the following fiscal year. So what this is telling us is in the last 3 years, the general fund had a surplus. However, in 21-22, a deficit is projected, and that's mainly due to all the one-time monies related to COVID that came in that's going to be spent according to the requirements. This page also tells us that ADA has slightly decreased, and that's very common for our Southern California districts. We're noticing that pretty much everywhere ADA is declining. And lastly, general long-term obligations have increased, and that's mainly due to GeoBond and pensions and OPEBs. With that, I'll conclude my presentation on the district report, and I'm open to any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. I'll open it for questions. Board members?
I have no questions. Just thank you for your audit, and I commend the business department for what you have done to present this.
Well, I'll ditto that. That's great. Thank you for the audit and also great work, Nancy and your team. So thank you very much.
I would like to thank you, and I think Dr. Nien is going to sleep well tonight.
All right, our next item is to 8.3, Bond Audit Report for fiscal year 2020-2021.
Okay, so this report, it's really a two-part. It's a financial audit and also the performance audit of Measure H. Basically, what this means, it's the performance side is We audit that to see if it aligns with the Article 13A of the state constitution, and also if all the expenditures that are sampled agree with what your voters elected for the bond to be used on. So on the financial statement side, the district earned unmodified opinion on the bond proceeds as well, with no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies noted. On the performance side, we selected a sample of 87% of the total expenditures from the fiscal year. And of those sampled expenditures, we noted that all of them aligned with Article 13A of the state constitution and also what your voters approved the projects to be spent on. And with that, I'm open to questions on the bond report.
All right, I'll open it up for questions for board members.
I'm just curious how you got to 87. Why 87?
So the way that works is there's a materiality threshold that we calculate based on the total expenditures. And then with that threshold, we'll select every single transaction that's above that dollar amount. So it's not necessarily that we have to look at 87%, it just came out to 87% this year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the report. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next, we're going to the 8.4 2021-2022 second interim budget report. Dr. Nguyen.
Well, before I get started, I do want to acknowledge our Executive Director of Fiscal Services, Karen Org. I know you work tirelessly with your team and your staff to make sure that we have this incredible audit. So thank you so much. That was all the work that you have done at the controller position. And then tonight as well, thank you for all the work you've done on this, putting together the second interim. You've done a great job and really appreciate all your support. Thank you. So tonight, we'll be presenting the second interim report. So these are all the differences between what I presented back in the first interim to what we currently projecting for now. I want to give a little background on what's happening at the in January and what the governor proposed at that time and what's happening in the state economy as well as the overall. So the governor's proposed budget is balanced, and we're hoping that, California as a whole will find a good equilibrium at this point. Hopefully things are getting a little better with all the different indicators we're looking at. The governor did propose a $286 billion budget that will be basically helping with the 22-23 fiscal year. There is a state surplus of about $45.7 billion for the 22-23 fiscal year. And so they are projecting a significant increase to the personal income tax as well as the sales and use tax. So that's all the different taxes that we pay for that portions of it. There is a significant increase to the reserve account, to the budget stabilization account, also known as the rainy day fund, the public school systems stabilization account, as well as the general fund reserve. Okay, and while we know that there are many positive indicators at this point, there is still a lot of economic uncertainties. With COVID, and hopefully this thing will be behind us soon, right? That's our goal at this point, as well as there are some international issues happening right now. So those are the things that we are making sure that we are monitoring those as well, because that could impact what happens in California as well. Overall, in the U.S. Currently, as we look at some of the numbers, the GDP for 2021 was about 5.6%. It is projected to go down a little bit to about 4.2% and 2.7% in 22-23. On the employment side, we are looking at overall the economy in the U.S. The economy will add about 200 to 400,000 jobs each month. Unemployment rate will reach about 3.4% by the end of 2022. So that is extremely low at the national level. For California, as of December, it was about 6.5%. So California unemployment always tends to be a little bit higher than what the national rates are. But if we look at the inflation, this is the numbers we're seeing right now. In December of 2021, inflation was at about 7%. And in January, as we, the latest number that we have, it was about 7.5% inflation. I think we all know this when we go to the gas pumps right now. I mean, how much a gallon of gas costs is exceeding $5, even for the regular. And so basically the transportation and housing, those two things are increasing the inflation rates across the country at this point. Given that the state is doing well because state is able to deposit the money into the public school system stabilization amount, the reserve cap trigger is going to go in the fiscal year 22-23. So this occurs when the state deposits the money in the prior fiscal year. So now in 22-23, the district cannot have more than a 10% reserve. So, but as you will see in our multi-year projection, based on our current spending pattern, we will be falling below that 10% regardless at this point. So as we all have seen, our enrollment has been declining significantly, across as well, and the districts, even in our feeder, are declining as well. So then the governor at this point has basically proposed something called, to make sure that we don't fall off the cliff. So you will see here in 2019, that was what we've been funded on the 2019-20 ADA. So we've been doing that for about 2 years at this point, right? So we got funded for 2020 and 21-22. So next year with the drop down there that way, it is a significant drop. That's why you will see in our multi-year projections what the numbers they are. So the governor is proposing to do a 3-year averaging, taking the ADA from 1920, 2021, and 21-22, and do a 3-year averaging. So that will significantly help our district if that happens in this model. Currently, we're not projecting that at this budget since this could change. We do not know what that could look like. Is it only for 1 year? Is it ongoing? We do have some numbers that we project that could happen, and so our goal is hopefully by May, when the governor do his May revise, then we would know what that number could look like. But we do have an idea what that looked like at this point. So we're very grateful for this proposal and hope this happens as it should. So these are the dartboard as second interim, some of the numbers that we are using. So the cost of living adjustment, as you will see, for current year is at 5.07%. It is projected to go up to 5.33. So even as we speak at this point, the cost of living adjustment for 22-23 has already gone up to 6.17% from the legislative analyst office at this point. So the number are actually going up. So that's actually will be a good thing. And then in out years, they kind of drop down to about 3.6% in the out 3 years starting 23-24. CalSTARS continues to be going up. So we know that it's going up to 19.1% in 22-23. CalPERS, as we know that number has is going up quite a bit this year at 22.91% and going up to 26.1%. We are hearing that CalPERS is hoping to decrease those rates based on their latest number that they've shown. And so if that happens, we will be bringing that at the budget adoption in June. So we'll just have to wait to see. Hopefully those numbers will come down a little bit. Then will be at less cost to our district. Okay, so I do now wanted to show some of the numbers that what we're working with. As we have shown at first interim as well, we do have the declining enrollment. For next year, we are looking at a decline of another 721. So current year, we're at about 28,400 students. Next year, we're projected to go down to about 27,683 students. So, and based on our trend, we are projected to lose about 750 students each year, and then in the third year out, about 1,000 students in the third year out. So we are looking at that trend still at this point. I did talk to some of our feeder districts. I think they are stabilizing in a couple years. That's what they're telling us. So we're hoping that if our feeder districts stabilize, it will also help us stabilize our numbers, and hopefully that we don't have continue this trend. But these are the numbers based on the projected when we roll up the kids, these are the numbers we're looking at. Our unduplicated pupil count did go up a little bit, and so we're able to update the numbers here. So we went up to about 76.56% and going up to 77% next year, and then falling down to about 76% in the out years there. As we have seen here, this is the district's contribution for the STIRS and PERS as well. As you will see here from last fiscal year, we did increase our budget by about $8 million, and these are ongoing costs that we are absorbing in the budget. And in 21-22 to the following fiscal year, it's an additional $6 million that's going up. And so this is a big problem for every district in California, the pension, and so we're hoping the governor will propose some type of a remedy to help all the districts in California, because this is a significant problem in every single district at this point. The health and welfare district contribution, as we have seen, current year we are projected to be about $53 million, and we are projected to go up to about $57 million, and then $62 million and $66 million in 24-25. As you all know, health and welfare benefits tend to go up to about 10% each year, especially in this category. We are very grateful that we have a great health benefits, welfare benefits committee that we do meet on the monthly basis. Thank you, Board Trustees Kathy and Anna Piercy for serving on that committee as well. So the committee come together and really work on different things to make sure that we get the best plan as well. So as second interim, the total general fund revenues, as you have seen here, is about $500 million at this point. And bulk of it is coming from the local control funding formula. As you have seen, it's about 72%. And the other revenue we're bringing in is the federal revenues, about $67 million, and most of these are the one-time dollar pandemic funding. And so that was just one time. As we all know, we have received about $156 million, and those are already projected in the multi-year budget out. The next slide here is the total general fund expenditures here, and we are looking at a second interim to spend about $508 million for current year. As you will see, the bulk of our expenditures are on the salaries and benefits. This year, with the one-time dollars, we are spending about 10% of our total budget on books and supplies, and so these are the one-time things that we're spending on. As you will see here, this is our current, the second interim budget in 21-22, and then the out year numbers as well. So current year, we are deficit spending by about $7 million at this point. And for 22-23, about $20.5 million deficit. You'll increase to about $26 million. And in 24-25, about $27 million deficit. These are the numbers I really want the board to focus on. We are in a deficit spending mode. Part of it is due to the one-time dollars coming in, but bulk of it is also our declining enrollment. And so our goal is, with the governor's proposal, hopefully that will help us at least narrow down the deficit spending. And so that's our goal, to make sure that by June, when the number we bring to board, the governor will have a more firm proposal by then. So you will see right now, current year, our available reserve is at 11.33%. But going into next year, the current projection right now is a 7.72. So that is below the 10% on the 10% that we the cap is at 10%. So we are below the 10% for starting 22-23, and that's what we are required to do at this point. It does go down to about 3.66% in 22-23, and then 24-25 also we're down to about 3.22%. And so that's extremely low, when you have a reserve of only 3%. In those calculations in there, the board amended additional 3%, and that's still in there. So that's our goal, to make sure that we can still have the additional 3% above what the required reserves are. So the timeline. So in February, Joe Kimona brought up the LCAP supplement that was part of the requirement to go to the board, as well as the A to G grant to board, and I believe the A to G grant will be approved tonight, so that's part of the new process. And tonight we'll bring in the second interim. We are waiting for the May revise. Obviously, in May, we'll see what those numbers look like and put the budget together with the LCAP for June. And so, and we will be presenting that on June 6th. To the board, and then the board will adopt the LCAP as well as the budget on June 16th. And so that concludes my presentation. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, board members, do you have any questions?
No?
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Nguyen. Great presentation. I know we got some challenges coming ahead, but I think we're ready for it.
Ready for it. Thank you so much, our team, and thank you for this time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. All right, next we go to public comments, open session items. I'm going to read this little paragraph here. Opportunities for public comments occur at the beginning of each agenda item, and at this time for items not on the agenda. Persons wishing to address Board of Trustees should complete a speaker request form available on the information table back there, and submitted to the executive assistant prior to the meeting. Each speaker is limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Each topic or item is limited to a total of 20 minutes. Board members cannot immediately respond to public comments as stated in the speaker request form. So I know, Carl, you have your little gadget right there, so you could keep track of the timing. I'm going to call on the first speaker, Wendy Sparks.
Good evening. Do I need to say my name and address? It said that on the paper. No?
You can
No?
say
I don't
it.
know. My name is Wendy Sparks. Okay, good evening. As a parent of a senior and a freshman that have both participated in football at Cyprus High School, I'm here to discuss the condition of the fields at the high school and at Handel Stadium. I would like to start by saying the renovations that have taken place at Cyprus High School are exceptional. Driving by Cyprus High School or walking through the new quad area and passing the swimming pool puts a smile on my face. As I continue my journey through campus toward the fields, my smile begins to fade. The fields are not only a sight for sore eyes, but they are a danger to our student athletes. I was first aware of the hazards on the field when my oldest son was a freshman and a friend of his was injured with a torn ACL due to the deplorable conditions of the field. Fast forward a few years later, and another friend had the same injury while playing soccer on the Cyprus High School fields. And it doesn't stop there. While helping out at our two-a-day practice this year, I see one of our players coming over in a golf cart with the athletic trainer. Walking from one field to the next, he stepped in a hole and tore ligaments in his ankle. This is unacceptable to me, and I hope to you as well. Our student athletes deserve better, and it is imperative to take action. The shape of our fields are in at Handel Stadium isn't much better. We have multiple teams playing on this field throughout the year, and maintaining and repairing it must be a priority. From 1992 to 1998, I attended most Kennedy High School football games and watched Mr. O'Neill's sons play. So when I go to Handel Stadium, I feel this certain sense of nostalgia. But once the nostalgia wears off, I ask myself, how is it possible that this stadium looks basically the same as when I was in high school? Cyprus High School hosted 2 CIF games this year. At the end of the season, the fields have been played on and maybe even practiced on for many, many hours. We had some friends coming to the game from the opposing team, and the first thing I said to my husband was, oh great, they are going to have to play on our fields. It is always uncomfortable to have someone come to Handel and see what our stadium and fields look like. Instead of being excited to have a home game, it is somewhat embarrassing. I have heard comments about the terrible conditions at Handel from coaches, players, parents, and even the referees. I urge you to take a look for yourself. On Monday, I attended the Master Facilities Plan meeting and was glad to see there is a plan to turf the fields in our district. The problem is those plans are in the future, and Handel Stadium wasn't even discussed. We need our fields to be repaired and maintained throughout the year. I have a few pictures for you that were taken at the field at Cyprus High School. This is just a quick snapshot of what the fields look like during certain times of the year. Pictures can't tell it all. Seeing the fields in person allows you to see just how dire the conditions are. Please keep our student athletes safe. We have repaired our parking lot because of the hazards it has posed. Let's do the same for our fields and keep up the work throughout the year. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you very much. Next is Walter Jensen.
Thank you. Didn't prepare anything on paper, but I just wanted to, well, I was asked to share the experience of my kids being in the Anaheim School District, and in particular being a scholar or student athletes. And to best do that, I'd like to go back a little bit before I moved here. We came from Long Beach, and we picked a very good school district here, Anaheim School District, and we were very happy that we moved here. Academics are awesome, everything is great. So I have no complaints about that. But I do have to agree with the lady that spoke earlier as far as the conditions of the fields. I am fortunate that my kids are also very active. My son is a baseball player. He's on the varsity team for Cyprus. He plays football also at the Handel Stadium. And my daughter found out when we moved to Cyprus, when we joined AUHSD, that she was pretty good in soccer and also pretty good in track and field. And I'm proud to say at the Handel Stadium, she was back-to-back, 100-meter and 200-meter and long jump champion. So very athletic, and with that comes also a lot of aspirations and dreams, right? So she started to share how she really wanted to be like number 13, Alice Morgan, I believe her name is, which is a very good soccer player. Anyway, she's from this area too. That was when she was right about in elementary school. And then their aspirations became more and more realistic, as she really wanted to go on the next level, being a scholar athlete, eventually a collegiate athlete. And she actually did have potential to do so. As she got better and better in soccer, I decided to eventually take her out of AUHSD and get her into club soccer, which was kind of pricey. But it was worth it because she joined Premier, and there they have practice at St. John Bosco, and the field was really good. And I have to say, I already then felt that a lot of the AUHSD practices was at Lexington High School. I already felt that the field conditions were really bad. Being a foreigner myself, I'm Dutch, I'm a soccer fan. I could already see that the field wasn't really that great. But you don't take it that heavy. You kind of like roll with it. You're not really worried about it. But slowly, especially when she joined the high school team, when she went to Cyprus High School, where she practiced almost daily on the field that the lady just described, it was just really concerning and worrisome. And eventually, I started to realize that she started to roll her ankles more, both sides, so left and right, which is painful, and you kind of like are not that worried about it in the beginning, but when it happens 2-3 times, and eventually one of the worst days was that she rolled it right before she was supposed to go to a showcase tournament in Las Vegas. She just had to complete one of the practices at high school, and she rolled it again. And this was so severe that we decided eventually, let's have a look at it, let's see an orthopedic. And don't get me wrong, my daughter still loves soccer, and she's going to stay with the Cyprus High School soccer team because she loves the team. But what we noticed was that she did eventually had a tear in one of her ligaments in her ankles, and the orthopedic did say, you're going to have to, if you want to play on the next level, you're going to have to get an operation. And it was just sad to see that, you see the dreams from Alice Morgan to more realistic playing on a college level. You see that slowly dissipate and disappear. And it was painful for me to see, but I know my daughter is very resilient. She doesn't really, she says, no, I'm just going to play on high school level, and I'm not going to play any college level because I don't want to get operated. The prognosis was you have to be operated if you want to go to the next level, which would have meant she would have missed the high school season, at least one or maybe two of the last seasons. And it was just hurtful and painful to see as a parent how that kind of affects your child. And hey, guess what? My time is up. I just wanted to share my experience. Oh. Okay, one more minute? Well, I'd just like to wrap it up by saying that it was painful to see, and you want the best fields or conditions for the kids eventually. You want, and my attempt here was to help you guys understand how it really affects a young girl that has those aspirations, and you can see that the conditions were just really tough on her ankles. And I'm not the only parent, like the lady shared, there are a lot more athletes, and when you look at the high school soccer team, you can see that there are more athletes walking around with knee injuries. And right now, my daughter is playing soccer with an ankle brace still. She's going to hang in there, but less mobility, and she's getting shin splints. And so they're all side effects of the field conditions. And that's just what I wanted to share with you guys, the experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. All right, next is Eric Morale.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I just want to echo a little bit. I heard Wendy talk about some of the, visiting teams and parents coming over to Cyprus, and it's to hear their comments about how terrible the field is compared to their home school and where they play, and just to kind of them say that they're concerned about their kids getting injured. I remember this fall the field was so dusty and there was basically no grass. It was all dirt, that the dirt was just kicking up and the kids were breathing it in, and they were just coughing like, nonstop during the game. When I took a look around, at Anaheim, and I remember Western High School Handel Stadium back in 1976, and it looks very similar to what I remember it back in 1976 at the Little Olympics that I participated in. When you look around at the other districts around here, Santa Ana Unified has, they have turf fields and new stadiums. Garden Grove has 2 new turf stadiums for the 6 schools. Orange, all the school sites have turf to practice on. And of course, they have Fred Kelly, they just redid that. Fullerton has 3 new turf stadiums. Los Al has a new turf stadium. Huntington Beach, all school sites have turf fields. Yorba Placentia, same thing, they all have turf fields. All South County schools have turf fields and stadiums, and Long Beach has turf fields and stadiums. So we are, way behind, way behind. And Loera was here earlier, and it was great that you honored them, and they did a great job, and they had a great year. Our coach at Cyprus High School was Orange County Coach of the Year this year. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, and that's a pretty big honor. We're at a disadvantage. We're at a disadvantage when we play teams in the playoffs in schools, these other schools that have lights and turf fields. When it rains, they get to practice. If it gets dark, they get to turn on the lights and practice at their schools. We don't have that opportunity. We have to close it up before 5 o'clock. When we were in the playoffs this year, it got dark, and when it did rain, the fields were really poor and difficult to practice on. I personally walked the field a couple of weeks ago, and it was so bad. I honestly, in good conscience, I don't think I could let my son practice on those fields if they don't get repaired and maintained. They're just really bad. Just walking on it myself, I felt my ankle turn, several times as I walked on the grass field. They're just not worth. It's not worth it. Football's a rough sport, and people get hurt all the time. You don't want to have needless injuries due to the field conditions. So I ask that you consider that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, our next speaker is Maza. Go ahead.
Just waiting for everybody to get a copy so I can read this.
We'll get it, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Excuse for a lot of us not being here. We're getting ready for our Mexica New Year's, the month of March in our Aztec calendar. In our Native American tradition, this is the month we celebrate Native American New Year's. This is the year of the rabbit, Tochli. But back to this letter of Virginia Carmelo and the word calling us at Anaheim High School. To Anaheim Union High School District Board. Let's move Anaheim towards a more exclusive and dignified future by removing the mascot and the name colonist. Many schools and national sports teams have come to a rational understanding of the negative impact of mascots that are offensive and harmful. They have chosen in a spirit of respect, understanding, and for the better benefit of communities to remove their distasteful mascot names. Such actions in our country demonstrate that removing long-time negative representations of oppression, racism, and inequality are a step towards healing pervasive and historical injustices towards minorities, especially Native Americans and indigenous peoples. There is a historical disconnect between the colonists, as depicted by the Anaheim High School mascot and much later German colonists in Anaheim. Quote, colonists arrived in the America's East Coast in the early 1600s and were never in California. Quote, colonists predates the establishments of the United States and democracy. Quote, colonists worldwide took indigenous lands as their own under violent, dehumanizing, and unscrupulous methods, raids, and warfare, which is the reason the word should not represent high school students. In 1857, the Germans planned a project to move to Anaheim, where, in fact, investors. It was local Native Americans and indigenous agricultural work that made possible the water supply and land preparation for the vineyards so that the Germans could prosper. 3 years later, when all was ready, Germans arrived to make their homes on unceded land. During this same era, local natives barely survived incursion, having suffered 90% loss of population on the horrifying attempts to completely exterminate indigenous peoples and take the land. For Native Americans, the term, quote, colonist is a reminder of the cruel and disastrous treatment of our ancestors. In 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King said the following, quote, our nation has borne in genocide when it embraces the doctrine that the original American, the Indian, was an inferior race, even before there were large numbers of Negroes on our shores, the scar of racial hatred and already disfigured colonial society. From the 16th century forward, blood flowed in battles of racial supremacy. We were perhaps the only nation which tried as a matter of national policy to wipe its indigenous population. Moreover, we elevate the tragic experience into a noble crusade. Indeed, even today we have not permitted ourselves to reject or to feel remorse for this shameful episode. Our literature, our films, our drama, our folklore, and all exalted. Let us be forward-thinking and responsible to all. Let us create much-needed sensitivity for all cultures. Be the change for our community. Let us end the era of harmful mascots. Remove the depiction and name, quote, colonist. So respectfully, Virginia Carmelo. And there's Virginia Carmelo is a Gabrielino Tongva descendant and elder. She's a long-term resident of Anaheim. She is a native to this land and was land as were her ancestors before her. Virginia family has lived in Anaheim for 3 generations before her. Her father graduated from Anaheim High School. Virginia is the former council member and the former tribal chairperson of the Gabrielino Tongva Nation in the Great Los Angeles Basin and also Orange County. Her 6 children attended schools in Anaheim School District and do her grandchildren today. She is a cultural educator and consultant. Thank you for listening. And the original name before Anaheim, Anaheim, which is a German word, is Huhutugna. That's the river by the Angel Stadium. And it just, it's still hurting a lot of us, and many people are going to come again. And just like we said before, and more came. And this time it'll be more. And but it takes time. We demand that you change the name of the school, not just the mascot. And if you change the name, when the new name should be maybe the Jaguars or Hutugna, speak with the Tongwas. The phone number is right there on Virginia Carmelo's phone number. And happy Women's Month. Thank you, ladies, women. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Chris Walsh.
Thank you. I'm here to talk about the adoption of the BLM task force as part of the curriculum in the Anaheim Unified School District. As a parent of biracial children, I was upset to learn about them being subjected to a lesson that asked them to identify differences in their peers that focused on stereotypes of different people of different skin colors. My children are biracial, and they are both white and Latino. And these lessons teach them that they are both oppressor and oppressed. The district's position on this is that it's to promote a discussion that focuses on race, racism, and racial equity. And on the surface, and taken at face value, it seems it's an innocent enough assignment. However, since the adoption of this task force in early 2020, BLM has proven themselves to be a violent group that advocates for the defunding of police and the disruption of the nuclear family, as well as promoting a Marxist ideology nationwide. They are currently under investigation for misappropriation of donated funds. They're barred in the state of California from further fundraising until they can properly account for these funds, as well as other states and Amazon. Now, I'm here to encourage the Anaheim Unified School District to reconsider their support of this group and withdraw from any involvement with any organization that would encourage our children to focus on our differences based on skin color. I don't believe that our children are naturally predispositioned to look at each other based on skin color, race, or the stereotypes that exist within each group. I don't want my children or any other children to be subjected to a discussion that asks them to focus on this. And that's pretty much all that I have prepared for today. I do apologize. I would like to make further statements on this, but I'm just here to let you guys know that I do not approve of the BLM task force being forced upon our children. And I would ask you guys to really reconsider and take another look at this organization and withdraw this from the curriculum in the school district. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Marisa Bermudez.
Good evening, Board President Jabbar and board members. My name is Marisa Bermudez, parent of a student at Sycamore Junior High School. First of all, I wanted to start off by thanking you for the resolution that you passed this evening on the community schools. That's actually something that is very personal to me, that I'm so thankful that I'm able to participate in the Community School Steering Committee, and I believe that my participation is valued, and that we all have an active voice within the group. So I think that's super great, and the fact that you guys adopted a resolution is amazing. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. The other thing that I wanted to speak on was the Fafsa applications. I was on, I didn't write the dashboard name on there, but the one that you look at to see how many applications have been turned in, district-wide, school-wide, and how many applications have been completed and how many have been awarded. Actually, I was looking that up right now because on the way over here, I was having a conversation with my sister, and she was saying, have you looked at the dashboard? And I said, no, I looked at it the other day, but nothing had been awarded yet to any of our students. So looking at the data today, we have a total of 5,288 applications that have been submitted. This has been as of February 27th. And out of those ones, 5,288 students is what we're looking at. But out of those students, only 1,902 possible students, 1,932 students have submitted an FAFSA application. 1,720 have been completed, but only 130 have GPA submitted. So as of February 27th, which was the last day the dashboard was updated, only 105 FAFSA applications have been awarded. I'm hoping that between that time to now, because the applications deadline was yesterday, that our school personnel who are in charge of turning in that GPAs have done so. Because I believe it's very important that we turn the GPAs in a timely manner so that way students can get their award letters from FAFSA and see how much money they're going to be receiving. Not just what they're already going to be getting from the Cal Grants or the Pell Grants, but what money they're going to be awarded from the schools that, potentially, want to have them attend their schools. So I know I've talked to several of you regarding this issue, and it's something that I think it's very important that we look at and we don't leave it to the last minute. Just in case if our district has not submitted GPAs, there needs to be an application turned in by tomorrow for the extension of 30 days. So I hope whoever's in charge of this to really look into it and it's not leave this to the last minute. And it's nothing to, to bash on anybody or anything, but these are our students that we're talking about and that we need to make sure that they're planning accordingly and to where they're going to go to the university for the students that, are going to be going off to college or to the four-year institutes. I believe it's very important, and I've brought this up at one of the committees, that, that we sit down with the parents and the students and go over these award letters and explain to them the opportunities that they have depending on the acceptance of the schools that they've been accepted to. So that was what I wanted to bring and highlight today, and I hope somebody looks into this. And hopefully they've already submitted and we don't need to do an extension. That would be great, but I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Maritza. I've actually, since you and I spoke, I think a couple of weeks ago, I brought it up to Mr. Freed, and he explained the process to me. They're in the process of getting that done, so thank you.
People spoke to it today as their kids are feeling the pressure to get those things in.
There you go. All right, thank you. All right, our next speaker is, public comment is Camila. Guess not. Patty? Not, okay. All right, that's the end of our public comments. And now we go to our educational services. 10.1, school-sponsored student organization.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Including our student vote? And that's an aye. Okay, resolutions. Resolution number 2021/22-BOT02, compensation for board meeting. And this is a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Trustee Piercy.
I don't know. He's not even looking at me. Okay, I'll vote yes.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
Okay, now you are.
Okay, all right.
All right, Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Mr. O'Neill. Trustee O'Neill. Abstain? And then I vote aye. Motion passes 4-1, or 4-0-1.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 10.3, resolution number 2021/2022-B-15, adjustments to income and expenditures, general fund, resolution number 2021/22-B-16, adjustment to income and expenditures, various funds, and the 2021-2022 second interim report. This is a roll call vote.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, Trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes unanimously. 10.4, resolution number 2021/2022-B-17, Cal Shape Plumbing Program Award, and this is a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Comments? I just had a quick question. So the total amount for this one is $8,002?
Yes, for this piece, yes.
Okay. Are we planning on applying for more, or
Yes.
is it? Okay,
Yeah,
so
we
we
are
are.
working with a consultant to come up with the rest of the bulk of it, yes.
Okay. How much are we expecting?
We can get those numbers to you, yeah.
Okay.
We're still working with those numbers right now.
All right.
so.
Perfect. This is a roll call vote. Trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes unanimously. 10.5, resolution 2021/2022-B-18, Cal Shape Plumbing Program Award. Again, roll call vote.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Seeing none, Trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes unanimously. 10.6, resolution number 2021/2022-E-20, Autism Awareness Month.
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
And I vote aye, motion passes unanimously. 10.7, resolution number 2021/2022-E-21, Cesar Chavez Day, and this is a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote. Trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
I vote aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
And I vote aye, motion passes unanimously.
And I just have one comment to make, because I remember this, when Cesar Chavez started this, and it was the thing I remember most about it, and I just had to say that it was a great boycott of grapes, and it worked. But it was really something. I'll never forget that. I was pretty young then.
All right, thank you. 10.2, resolution number 2021/2022-E-2022, National Child Abuse Prevention Month.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
And I vote aye, motion passes unanimously. 10.9, resolution number 2021/2022-E-23, Arab American Heritage Month. It's a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Trustee Piercy.
Aye.
Trustee Randall Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
And I vote aye, motion passes unanimously. We already voted on 10.10, business services. We move on to 10.11, agreement, diagnostic laboratory services.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.12, agreement, MZO Consulting LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Or is it MCQ? MZQ. Okay. We have a motion and a second. It's actually MZQ Consulting, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? No.
No.
All right, motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Educational services, 10.13, educational consulting agreement, ethnic studies, Dr. Jose Paulo Macallis.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.14, adoption of A through G completion of improvement grant.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.15, revised board policy 71106.01, graduation requirements, Gilbert High School, first reading. This is a information item. Any questions?
Nope.
Seeing none. 10.16, revised board policy, multiple policies, first reading. These are all information items. Any questions on those?
No, but I had to kind of chuckle at the head lice one.
The what?
Head lice.
Oh, the headlights.
It's just, I'm hope we don't have that problem. That should be an elementary school thing.
Never heard of one.
But you never know, so we have.
Happens, yeah.
Yeah.
10.16, okay. 10.17, education consulting agreement, District Choral
So
Festival.
moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, 10.18, agreement, Orange County Department of Education, bullying prevention
So
programs.
moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
No, just the comment, more teachers need to be aware and out amongst the kids, especially on the junior high level, to step in when you see that. So, not enough teachers do that, I'm sorry, but, because it's extra work. But we need to, especially now.
All right, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.19, independent contractor services agreement, Accountable Healthcare Staffing, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.20, independent contractor services agreement, New Direction Solutions, LLC, DBA ProCare Therapy.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.21, Education Consulting Agreements, Stunt Masters.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 10.22, Certificate of Administrators, Classified Management, and Classified Confidentially Salary Schedule. Action item.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 2022, this is the Superintendent's Office, California School Board Association Delegate Assembly election, and this is a roll call vote, but everybody has the ballot. Let's get to, that's GG.
It's a GG.
FFGG.
Can we vote and then give it to Carl?
That you'll vote for.
Yeah, tally, and then after that,
I
yep.
hope there's somebody on there that you voted for.
Well, there's somebody I don't want to vote for.
Me too.
Oh. Heaven forbid.
Oh, I was looking, I didn't see it.
Can we come back to that while we do that? So we could go ahead and go to consent calendar. Any items to be pulled on consent calendar?
11.7 MM and 11.8.
Anybody else?
No, move for the balance.
Second.
Motion to move the balance in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now let's entertain a motion for both.
Yes.
Yep. 11.7 mm and 11.8.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Aye.
All right, we have 401. All right. Carl, where are we at?
Almost there.
Man, you couldn't get that done within that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so we're going to go to
12.
Yeah, so we're going to go to 12.
No report for the superintendent?
No report for me.
No
Okay.
report.
Call still tallying.
No report.
All right.
What about Mr.
Manuel?
Colon?
No report.
No report.
Wow.
All right. So we go
What
to.
about John? Does John have a report? There you go. And Carl got a shout out today. I love that. Yeah.
All right, so before we go to our trustees, I'll take this. Well, we are.
So it's top 7. These are the top 6. This is a tie, so you may just want to go.
Okay. All right, so we tallied all the votes that were casted, and I'm going to read out the top, it's supposed to be top 7, but we have top 6, and then we have a tie for 2 positions with 1 vote each. So I recommend that we just go with the top 6.
Sure.
Yep. So the top 6 are Lynn Davis from Tustin Unified School District, Candace Kern with Cyprus Elementary School District. We got Lauren Brooks with Irvine Unified School District, Carrie Buck with Placentia Yorba Linda School District, Michael Simons from Huntington Beach Unified School District, and I'm just kidding, I kept it to the end to give the suspense, Anne Marie Randall.
Is she on there? Are you on
Is
there?
there intimidation there?
All right, so we have a selection of 6 candidates. I think we need to do a roll call vote with a motion to approve the 6 which were voted
So
by the
moved.
trustees.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, and we'll go with trustee Piercy,
Aye.
trustee Randall Trejo,
I vote aye.
trustee Smith,
I third it, aye.
trustee O'Neill.
Aye, aye.
And I vote aye, motion passes unanimously. All right. Okay, and then we go to the Board of Trustees report. Trustee Piercy, we'll start with you.
I'm first, okay. Okay, since the last board meeting, did we do this at the last board meeting, or was it so late we didn't? I don't remember, but anyway. I attended the Black History celebration at Kennedy's Performing Arts, and it was very interesting and well done. I was amazed at the guy doing the artwork. I was just fascinated how he could just draw it and then wipe it off and then draw more, and it was very interesting. And then I attended the discipline committee on virtual, and it was very interesting to see some of the results of the survey that was sent out. And I'm waiting to get a lot of the actual, no, she's not here, Shauna's not here. Did they send out the comments? I was waiting to get the comments. I thought
she was going to do all that on Friday.
on Friday? Oh, okay, because I want to see those, yeah. And then I attended the community facilities meeting on Monday in the Cyprus Community Center, and that was very interesting. And as I said before, some of the concepts put forth by the architects were nice, they were good, but they were pie in the sky, you know, because of the things that were told to them that we want to look for and the things that we would like and everything, and they did all this stuff. And just having lived through Measure Z and now H, it doesn't always work that way, even though you plan on it, because I know now they've got on the plans, like they came up with this idea for another building for Lexington. Well, they put it next to the fence, you know, the gym.
Yeah.
Next to the gym, where there was supposed to have been, in the fenced area that's next to the gym, a room built under Z. So they'd have a inside, and never got built. So we'll see what happens, but it's an interesting process, and I certainly hope that all the principals share with the teachers and give them the opportunity to have a pack of sticky notes to make their comments on the maps. And I want to go to the one this coming, is it Monday or Tuesday? Monday, here in the La Palma room, okay. So I'll try to wear that. And then one other thing that I attended, well, I mean, I was interviewed by the Kennedy WASC committee early in the morning, and I was expecting something different, but they were asking me questions and whatever, and part of it was because the lady that was doing it, I knew anyway, and so she was at, you know, I've known her in the community, but interesting the way they did it this time. But WASC's meetings are really tough. I've been through a lot of them, and it's interesting. And this one was kind of held a little differently. So.
Okay, thank you.
That's it for now.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rendo Trejo.
Thank you, everyone, for voting for me to get on the ballot for delegate. Thank you, I appreciate it. I want to continue that work. There was actually an OC delegate meeting that I had attended earlier this month. I attended my no crop meeting and my GASELPA meeting, and after 10 years of being on that board, I actually got elected president this year. So. Extra pay on that committee, right?
Oh, yeah.
I also, I didn't attend the Black Lives Matter celebration in person, but I was on virtual, and it was a beautiful celebration, and I'm very proud of the work that committee is doing. Also attended Ethnic Studies meeting, and they're moving along. Just great work from all the people on there, and I love the community support, as Grant was talking about, you know, all the teachers, administrators, and counselors working side by side together. That's how we get it done in AUHSD. I'm not sure if I had reported that we attended the TET Parade, which is just phenomenal. It's just great to get out there, and it was really great to be there in person, and just the celebration of and having Nancy as a partner was really fun, and next year we're going to eat, right?
Yes.
We're going to get something to eat before we have to wait, because it's show business. You hurry up and then you wait for hours before the step-off time. But it's a lot of fun, and our kids were just really excited to be there and represent, and, you know, they just embrace AUHSD. And so I'm really, really happy and honored to participate. And a shout out to Ricky and the team for getting us there every year, and it's a lot of hard work managing all those students. I also represented us at AUHSD at the OC Fair. They have a big tech parade or celebration at the OC Fair that I didn't know about, and in addition to myself, some representatives from Magnolia sang. They had a big stage outside, and so it was a lot of fun and a lot of celebration. Next year, I recommend you guys go there. A lot of good food and a lot of historical, I don't want to say artifacts, but a lot of historical possessions are there, and a lot of people that can tell their own story of the Vietnamese plight. And I am looking forward to spending, how many hours are we going to spend together? Tomorrow night and Saturday, doing our ambassador interviews, and they're doing it early this year because their intention is to get the next folks in and kind of shadow you for a couple of weeks or months. And I think that's a fabulous idea. And as our trustee Jabbar said, you guys have represented us this year tremendously, and you've done a wonderful job. And anyone coming after you and to get the opportunity to shadow you is going to learn so much from you and your brilliance. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Kids have done a phenomenal job this year. Just been outstanding.
Absolutely. And that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Smith?
Abdullah, have you enjoyed this? What have you gotten from this?
I've gotten a lot. It's been so much fun. I met so many people this year, and like I saw the inner workings of our district like never before, and it was a really good opportunity. And I only have 2 meetings left, so it kind of hit me. It's kind of crazy. So I'm excited that I got all these opportunities to speak with all of you and kind of share this year with you. So it was a great end of my high school experience. So I'm glad that I got this opportunity and kind of represent the students in the same way that I have when I was younger. And now I get to kind of speak for them and make sure that their concerns are addressed. And I feel like I've gotten to do that a few times, and I'm glad that I'm able to represent their voices in ways that they might not be able to directly connect to. And yeah, I think it was a really great opportunity.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good.
Well, I want to thank you for your sensitivity, and I'm going to take my mask off because what I have to share with you is highly unusual. You told me your family's from Syria, and that part of the world today. We go to work every day, open our refrigerators, and there's food. We have electricity, and we have no idea sometimes how fortunate we are. And recently, I called a friend of mine who lives in my hometown in Northern California, and I met her when I was 12 years old, and she and her mother and father came here from Holland just after the war. And I called her recently, and I said, "Did you see 60 Minutes the other night about Anne Frank?" And she said, "I sure did." And I said, her name's Wilhelmina. And I said, "Willie, you and Anne Frank would have been the same age." And she said, "We were the same age. We lived through that time at the same time." And she said, "Audrey Hepburn is the same age and lived in the same community." And so she said to me, "I have a book that a friend gave me, and it's called Dutch Girl, Audrey Hepburn." And she mailed it to me, and I just posted it back to her today. And it is one of the most difficult books I have ever read, and I have read a lot because I've known many people from my age and my generation that have lived through wars and have come out of the Holocaust. And she and her family came out of the Holocaust in Holland. and I turn on the news and I watch what's going over in Ukraine, and I read the pages, and I can't believe the comparisons of the descriptions in the pages of what these people lived in when the Germans were coming through and shooting people and going into their homes. It is just so impossible to think that, yes, that happened, and it's happening today. And it has brought it to me just firsthand how very fortunate we are in this country. And there are many people that are striving to save their lives and to get some sensitivity to what's going on in their daily experience. So I just want to call this to our attention because I am so grateful to all the people in this room that have really kept things going in a very, very difficult time, that we have all become extremely touched by this virus and masks, and just trying to remember how fortunate and kindness is so powerful to each and every one of us. And what you did tonight meant a ton of heart for me. So from my bottom of my heart, thank you. And I just want to say thank you to all of you folks. So anyway, I did attend the insurance committee meeting. We are so fortunate, once again, Americans. And I listened in on the discipline committee. And I'm here tonight, and I just want to say I'm so grateful for all of you wonderful people. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Mr. O'Neill.
Yes. I also attended the Facilities Master Plan presentation at Cyprus Community Center with Ms. Piercy, and we've already discussed this, so I won't go into that, so you already know what we saw. Attended the Sister City Commission meeting. We are still toying with the application process for sister cities and how we're going to approach that. It's some interesting feelings that were presented, so that's going to continue on. Attended the Black History Month presentation and saw the artist that Ms. Piercy mentioned. And I tried to take some pictures with just my cell phone, and when I looked at them later on, it was just, the lighting was terrible, but it was like because it was on a whiteboard, and it just flashed right back, so you couldn't see a single thing. You couldn't even see the artist standing there. So it was very unfortunate, but that's the cameras we have in our pockets nowadays. I attended the Kennedy Choir performance last Saturday night.
Some lessons.
Some lessons? For the Kennedy Choir performance?
For the picture.
Oh, the other thing I just said. Yes, I need all the help I can get. Kennedy Choir performance, they always put on a great show, and they didn't, they continue to do a great show. And with the new choir director there, she's been there, what, 2 years now? 2 years, maybe 3 years. She does a great job. Yeah. Yeah. And then I attended the Girls Engineering Day at Dale. Walked through the various classrooms that the girls were engaged in, and saw the various procedures that the professionals were putting them through. And I was very pleased to see how many professionals that were actually there teaching the kids, helping them through the process. So it's really, really great. So every year I get to go and see that, and hopefully look at it again next year.
I forgot to mention that, and I just want to add on to that it was amazing how many of these women gave their time, and then all the teachers that came. And it was interesting, and the girls, I love seeing them work together, and how they set things up and they started working together. I wasn't able to stay all day, but maybe next year. And maybe next year I can bring my granddaughter, like Al brought his daughter and niece, and so that was kind of neat. But one side effect of that was I did get to talk to some of the science teachers and some of their concerns, and so that was always, I always liked that, so got to talk to a lot of the science teachers. So.
All right.
Trustee, Board President Jabbar, shout out to Jessica Yet. She's one of our outstanding curriculum specialists. She does an incredible job organizing, planning, and building capacity for our teachers to participate. So she's one of the big reasons why it's such an amazing day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just begin with that. I think it was a great day to see some of our kids. And like Ms. Piercy said, I had my daughter and my niece there, and they loved it. They only spent a short period of time, but they would have loved to stay a little bit longer. But yeah, it was great. So congratulations to all of them, and please let them know that we appreciate it. And I know it's been a few years now that they've been going. I was reminiscing. I think that was my one of the first events when I got on the board. That was 9 years ago. So yeah. So I think it's the 7th. This was the 7th.
This was the 7th, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I actually attended our water polo team dinner, which was a great night for all of our students. It was amazing to see some of our student athletes excel, and some great stories too, so it was awesome to hear that. I also attended the LCAP meeting last night. Awesome turnout, and thank you to Manuel and Jaron for actually taking me through all the groups, and it was great to see our engagement and student partnership too. I think we had more than 290 participants, and then we had another, well, including the 250 in
person and another, or 254 in person and 47
online, right? Yeah. And it was great to see students participating. So again, kudos to you guys for taking the lead on that. I did attend the Black History Month. I took some great pictures though. Did you? So yeah.
You must have been sitting next to me.
I was sitting next to you. That's why I should have told you.
I don't see your camera.
It was great. I love the artists too, so it was nice to see that. It was kind of something different, and you know, it was well received by the audience. The Anaheim High School Winner Package event that I talked about last time, that was going to be held, and we served more than 500 families who actually came by. And again, kudos to our ambassadors who showed up in droves, and then I want to thank the Bros. This is the first time the organization which actually partnered with us, they looked at it and they were amazed at the number of students and number of volunteers we had. I want to give a big shout out to Araceli Huerta and Tania Garcia for actually taking the lead in getting everybody in together. So I know they're not here, but please let them know. It was a great event. We not only gave out blankets and clothing and food, but it was great to see all our community members coming back. So I went to the Magnolia High School International Festival. Again, that was, I always love to go to the Western International Festival, and then Magnolia now, and it was outdoors in the new the student quad area, and it was beautiful. I mean, I think everybody was waiting to get into campus after COVID. The place was packed. It was great. And then the Goals Engineering, I mentioned it. Community Schools Committee meeting, again, thank you, Grant, for inviting me. After 3 invitations, I made it to that. Hope to make the next one. My Wednesdays are always packed, so, but thank you for that. It was great. And I'm looking forward to actually opening ceremony to make sure that we are there for that one. I also attended a health fair. Well, I also attended a water polo fundraising event the very next day, which was great. Water polo team has been really, I think they've been doing a great job in not only recruiting, but they're thriving. So I want to make sure, I think the coach did mention, I've spoken to Robert about coaching staff for them. So I think it's coming your way, Brad. So take a look at it and let's support them, because I think there's also a safety concern for me. So let's make sure that that happens. I also attended a health fair for Afghan refugees. My boss sits on an ad hoc committee to support it. So it was interesting. There was a family who had kids who were from Anaheim, but the health fair was in Laguna Niguel. So I want to make sure that we are paying attention to our Afghan refugees maybe enrolling in Anaheim High School. I know that most of the schools are geared towards South County because they are, I don't want to give the location out, but it's a South County spot that they're having the health fair, and also there are hotels where we are housing them. But I think naturally, because of the community in Anaheim, you do have some people who are leaving and coming to Anaheim. So let's be cognizant of the fact that we might be getting African refugees our way. And I believe we have a second resettlement agency which was actually approved, and they're based out of Fullerton, and we have a partnership with them, which is ICNA. We've done work with them, and we have an MOU with them. So I would encourage, I'm going to put you guys in touch so that we could work with them to see if we are bringing in students into ICNA, let's encourage them to come to Anaheim Union High School District because of our robust, program that we have for summer. So that's something that we want to keep an eye out in the next few months. That's about it on my report. So advanced planning, future meeting dates. Our next meeting, Board of Trustees, will be held Thursday, April 4th, 2022. I can't believe that it's going to be April. Wow. And any suggested agenda items?
I would like to know about the turf. We've had that discussion here in the past. This gentleman was talking about turf. Is that the synthetic material that he's referring to?
So we'll probably ask you to give a Friday update.
Yeah.
And give us all a Friday update on the conditions. I know that I've had conversations about the conditions of the field too, so let's maybe give a little bit of
And in that report, would you tell us what schools have had their fields improved, if any? I know we've worked a lot on buildings, but now that it's been brought up, what have we done for the fields?
Perfect.
And since we didn't cover this,
Yeah, this
I
is
wanna
going
make sure
to the
that we
next
leave
meeting.
these, so we don't have to duplicate these
Oh.
again.
Yeah, that's
Perfect,
the other
yeah,
thing.
that's a
Keep
good-
these,
good
let's
idea.
stack them up and
Yeah.
leave them here.
Yeah, we'll leave them here.
So we don't have to reprint them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill, for that, for saving
Yeah.
papers
Yeah,
and
that's-
money.
'cause that's a lot.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to adjourn the meeting in memory of Jackie Brock, our former CSCA president.
That is so sad.
And I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor, and take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Move to adjourn.
Good.
Second?